So we do have a quorum. We'll move to the next item. Approval of minutes of the 124 executive session and regular meeting. Are there any corrections, deletions, or additions to those individual said meeting minutes? Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes of both the executive session and the regular meeting of 124-22.
I move that we approve the minutes from our last meeting and executive session.
I'll second that.
Thank you both. I'll go through a roll call. Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Barron.
Aye.
Commissioner Deitch.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so the motion passes. On item number 3. Number 4, approval of claims 224-22. Mr. York.
Yes, thank you. This is a claims for redevelopment for February 24th, 2022. In January, we had payroll for CDBG, reimbursables, staff, and commissioners. From the operating fund, we had the downtown idea exchange for subscriptions for 3/1/23, 22 through 3/1/23. Great American Financial for January and February for 2022 copier fees. Saranac Law Services for monthly retainer for January 2022. Van Osdal and Farrier for annual contract for Windscribe dictation program. We had in the North TIF Fund, we had August Mack for TC Properties and Begley and Concord. We had the Bocce Brothers for Bocce Brothers LLC for facade grant reimbursements for 110 West 9th Street. Butler, Fairman, Seifert for Liberty Trail Path Scoping Study. Butler, Fairman, and Seifert for Seeing Sands Phase 2 inspections. Pardon me. Department of Waterworks for utilities at 1215 East 2nd Street. Hot Pans Catering for Transit Block business actual cost for moving. Hot Pans Catering for Transit Block business reestablishment expense. Neighborhood Capital for 11th Street Central RFP for January 2022. Neighborhood Capital for Development Advisory Services. NIPSCO for utilities at 1215 East 2nd Street. NRK Properties LLC for a facade grant for partial reimbursement at 904 through 906 Franklin Street. Pioneer Lumber for lumber and materials for Peanut Bridge deck replacement. Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the North TIF for January 2022. Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the East TIF for January 2022. For the South TIF, we had DLZ for South TIF Connectivity Improvements Project, Haas & Associates for the South TIF Connectivity Improvement Projects, and Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the in the South TIF for January 2022.
Thank you, Skylar. I'd ask if there are any questions for Skylar with respect to the financial claims.
I move approve the claims. Second.
We've got a first and a second. We'll go to do a roll call. Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Barron.
Aye.
Commissioner Deitch.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. The motion passes. For the approval of claims of 224-22. Skylar, again, approval of financial report 12/31/21.
Yes, thank you. This is a balance sheet for Michigan City Redevelopment for 12/31/2000 2021. Cash in the operating account, we have $227,750.06. From the Southside TIF account, we have $8,655,518.80. The Southside TIF debt reserve account, we have $336,014.35.
If I could ask I'm sorry, Scott, if I could ask everybody to make sure if you're not actively involved in the meeting, please put yourself on mute. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
We have the
Okay.
Southside TIF account. I'm so sorry, I lost my spot here. Southside TIF capital account, we have $16,895.62. In the North End TIF account, we have $4,284,575.46. In the Northeast TIF account, Northeast TIF, we have $261,732.49 for a total of $13,782,486.78. Loans receivable, we have loan to the East Side TIF from operating account for $21,028.49. For our county business loan fund, we have $133,333.00. For total assets of $13,936,848.27.
Very good, Skylar. Thank you. Ask if there are any questions concerning the financial report from 12/31/21. Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion for approval of the financial report of 12/31/21.
I move that we approve the balance sheet.
I second.
First and a second, do a roll call. Commissioner Dennis,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett,
Aye.
Commissioner Deitch,
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion passes for the financial report, the balance sheet primarily. Facade grant, I guess we'll go to Aaron Bongraber to discuss this next item.
Good evening, Commission. Aaron Barngraber, Assistant Planning Director. I'm just going to share my screen 1 second. And just to confirm, can you see the request?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to be brief here. This is just a request for an extension for 312 East 8th Street. They have their certificate of appropriateness approval already. They've already gone before the commission for approval of the facade grant. That specific work was requested on June 14, 2021, and they're requesting, well, they're expecting the work to be completed by April 30th of 2022, and staff is just recommending granting an extension for that work, but to be completed by June 13th, 22, for two main reasons. There's a bunch of other extensions that have already been granted to that date, and they're also applying for the upper story residential program, which requires work to be completed within 12 months, and that was when they first were approved for the upper story residential program.
Are there any questions for Aaron? Aaron, so you're, are we going to approve both number 6 and number 7 tonight?
So the upper story residential, that was just an error on staff's part. They're not actually requesting an extension for that. That's 12 months, and they have an extra month flexibility, in my opinion, as they were granted a higher allowance on the following month's meeting.
So we just need to do the facade grant.
Yeah.
Correct.
Extension. Okay. Any questions for Aaron?
Move we approve the extension for, let's
Thanks,
see,
Ken. 312 East 8th.
312 East 8th.
All right, thanks, Ken. We have a second?
I second it.
John, thank you. Go through a roll call. Commissioner Dennis,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett,
Aye.
Commissioner Deitch,
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes for the extension of the facade grant for 312 East 8th. Skylar, number 8, the modification of riverboat liquor license for Fiddleheads.
Yes, and we do have the owner here, Mr. Aaron O'Reilly, and thank you, Aaron, for being with us. I wanted to get you on here because I know you got other things to do. So I'm going to have Aaron, I'm going to hand it over to Aaron and just kind of let him explain it to you like he explained it to me. And then I'll have Alan kind of walk us through. Does that sound okay, Aaron?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here. So I am switching. Currently, I have an LLC. It works well because I'm was a sole proprietor. Things have somewhat shifted for a multitude of reasons. One being that I'm in school currently for an accelerated nursing program, so I'm taking on a partner. With that, taking on a partnership is really difficult with an LLC in the way that it works out for tax purposes and a multitude of other legal reasons. So my accountant and my lawyer suggested that I switch from an LLC to a corporation, S Corp, which I'm in the process of doing. I already have the corporation. I'm awaiting like a new EIN number, but other than that, it is already in process. And so I was requesting that a liquor license or a letter from the commission for switching my liquor license from the Fiddlehead MA LLC to FAR Restaurant Corp., which is what we will be changing the name into.
But nothing changes. It's still Fiddlehead. Still everything's the same. It's still the same restaurant, same everything. Okay.
Yeah, we will nothing about the restaurant other than taking on a partner, as well as the name of the corporation will change. The name of the restaurant will still operate in the same way. The public really wouldn't even know that, I'm going to get a new sign this year. So, but it's still going to be Fiddlehead Restaurant, all the same, everything else, food, drinks, all that.
You'll still have the burgers every night.
Yes, definitely.
That's enough for me. Okay. Any questions from the commission?
Chris, let me just say one thing real quick.
Yep.
In our rules for the license, alcohol license, it's very clear that every time there's a first of all, it's very clear that these licenses cannot be transferred. Technically, what Aaron is doing here is transferring a license from one entity to the other, even though on its surface or even from its appearance, it'll have absolutely no change, no effect at all. The only reason why I suggested that we bring this up is just for enforcement. This is not a big deal, but technically it is a change and falls within our rules and enforcement of our rules. So while this may not be a big deal, my reason for bringing it forward is just the fact in the event we do have a big deal with either a future alcohol license member, whether we've awarded one to, or in the future, we can start setting a groundwork and start setting a foundation that we take the rules seriously and enforcement will be done 100%. And I don't think that we have always done that. So that was my reason for bringing it in there. And then Aaron, just a personal note, I love the food. That's it, I'm done.
Sounds like you don't have any fans, Aaron.
I do have a question for Alan, if I may, just on that note. Would it, I don't, so if it's I understand that this would be considered somewhat of a transfer. I think as far as the Indiana, the ATC goes, how they're treating it is a completely new license. I've talked to them about it, and basically what would end up happening is I would, get a letter from the commission. I would apply for a completely new license under a new EIN, under a new everything. That license would be issued to me, and then I would basically hand over the old license of Fiddlehead MALC back to you or back to whoever goes to the ATC. What they kind of walked me through was that the whole process will be brand new to the ATC. I'll have to go before the ATC board. I'll have to explain myself before them as well. So I guess I just wanted to say that I'm not sure if that is different on your account as far as a transfer or a new license.
I think you're exactly 100% correct, and I think when you take a literal interpretation of our rules, this does officially become a transfer from one entity to another. You are transferring the ownership of this license, and yes, all procedures then do have to follow. The ATC is going to require something from the city that shows that we've approved this transfer. And I guess, as a perfunctory matter, we could at some point in time in the future vote to terminate the agreement with, and we probably should, just to keep everything in order, but to terminate the Fiddlehead license, and by granting, and in fact, I guess if we want to do that tonight, Chris, is that the motion should be, we approve the transfer of the license from Fiddleheads to whatever the name of the new corporation is, and at the same time, we're simultaneously dismissing or revoking the license previously issued for Fiddleheads, and then we take care of everything all at once.
Now, question, would that, in doing that, I just want to make sure, because I'll be continuing, this will be like a 3-month process with the ATC. So in the meantime, I don't want to, if
That's correct, and I guess that would amend that, whoever's going to make that motion, I would amend that, say, upon the termination of the present license will occur upon obtaining the new license as a new corporation.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. So, Aaron, if you could give us the the current name is Fiddleheads.
It's Fiddlehead, singular, M-A, M as in Michigan's, A as in Apple, LLC.
Yep, and the new one?
Is F-A-R, capital F, capital A, capital R.
Yep. Restaurant
Corp, C-O-R-P.
And is there an ink at the end or no?
No.
Okay. All right. So we can, all right. That helps very much. Any additional questions from the commission? Okay. Very good. I would ask look for a motion concerning the transfer of the current license for a new license and revoking the existing license once the new license has been instituted by, I guess, ATC. So
moved.
Second?
So first and second. Go through roll call. Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett.
Aye.
Commissioner Deitch.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
The chair votes aye as well. So the motion passes. Aaron, thanks for all you do for the city, and we appreciate it. And keep making good food. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Next on the agenda, I go to Alan, our attorney, for the redevelopment owned property.
Chris, before we do it, if I could bring up one more thing, as related to the Riverfront alcohol license.
Yes.
Skylar and I have both received inquiries of another entity that wants to be seeking one of these licenses. And the way we have always done that is there is a committee of 2 commissioners, and then Skylar and myself, and we meet with the prospective restaurant owner and go through and make sure the application is correct before we bring it before the commission for action. So if we can identify who's going to be on that commission, we'll set that up, and maybe we can get another one of these in front of the commission next month.
That'd be good. Skylar, do you have your thoughts on that? I know we had a group previously.
So the way we do it is we put together a committee. We meet with the owners, and then the committee brings back a recommendation to the whole board. Mm-hmm. I don't have a recommendation of who should be on the committee or anything of that nature. I think it's just whomever has time or is willing to commit to doing it.
Okay. So I don't think we need to do that at this point. Alan, do you think?
Right, we just need to know who the committee is going to be so that we can contact those people, that's all.
Yeah.
And if anybody has an interest in joining that committee.
I think Angie was on it last time. Ken, I believe you were on it.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do it again.
Okay.
I would help if you need another person.
We can't do more than 2, so.
Okay, is that good? And
Yes, that works for me if Kathy could do it.
okay, Kathy, that's great. No, that's great.
All
Excellent.
right, Kathy, and we'll contact you when we get an appointment set up.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, they
Thank
can
you,
get
Kathy.
coordinate so we can get that done. That's a good. We want to get this on the next agenda for the 14th of March. So thank you.
All right, next up,
Yes. Thanks, Ellen.
Tyler, unmute yourself and you're up.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for seeing me today. We have a proposal here. I can share my screen. I don't know. Can I share?
You should be able to
You
share.
should be able to, maybe not in your car.
My mobile office today. Yeah, I'm on my computer here.
Okay, maybe you can. Down on the bottom.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Hey, Caleb, can you enable Tyler to share a screen?
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
So I'll start talking since we're waiting for that to happen. I'm proposing to run the beer garden during the St. Patrick's Day parade in conjunction with the parade. We'd like to set up on the southwest corner of 7th and Franklin Street where the lot is owned by you guys. I have insurance quotes that I'm just waiting to pull the trigger on that I've talked to Alan about yesterday on the phone. So I will send that over as soon as we make a decision on which one. I'm just waiting on one more quote to hit the email. And then as soon as we have that, we will submit the floor plan as soon as I can share this to you guys, or I'll email it after we're done here. I'm going to submit this floor plan to the Indiana ATC for our Beer and Wine Authority permit, and we'll have that set up. We plan to start serving around 11. That gives a couple hours beforehand to enjoy St. Patrick's Day before the parade. And then we also plan to enclose a vendor section for the art lofts. We want to have a little mini artisan market there potentially. So I'm working on getting that set up with Jeffrey Ortman over at the lofts there. That's still kind of not sure yet. We're still working on the details of that, but that's
You can share your screen now.
Thank you.
Tyler, how long will the event last?
So we plan to serve until 3:00. So I'll pull the permit for 11 to 3. So roughly 4 or 5 hours.
What entity is this?
This is TG Vintages LLC. I own Brick's Tasting Room, so we're not doing it under Brick's Tasting Room. We're just doing it under the LLC since we have to pull a separate permit anyways for the day. I'm trying to share my screen for you guys.
It should work.
Is it working?
Yep, you're all set to go.
Yeah, we don't see it yet, Tyler, but
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
What we have done in the past, there are a couple of things just for the commission's recollection is first of all, Tyler makes his presentation and kind of describes the event. And since it's going to be on our property, we have to give initial approval. Our biggest concern has always been two things. One is to make sure that the insurance policy that is in place for the times of the event meets the requirement for Michigan City. So that's why he needs to get that to us right away. And then the second thing is obviously is making sure for any kind of, this is required, but any kind of an alcohol event, some kind of law enforcement presence needs to be there. And then the third thing is, Tyler, I don't know if we talked about this yesterday too, but in addition to approval of the from the Redevelopment Commission who puts our property, you still need to end up by process going before the Board of Public Works, but they need to sign off on it too, which ordinarily they do. But again, I think it's the kind of thing of just making sure that all entities within the city are aware of this event,
Right.
but by surprise. So when you're done here, if the commission approves it, then the next step is going to be, like I say, is get me the insurance policy, make sure law enforcement lined up, and then go before the Board of Public Works and getting that done before March 12th.
Ellen, am I correct in saying that the city needs to be co-insured on his policy?
Oh, absolutely. The entire city, redevelopment commission, actually, the city is being one insured. We're a co-insured, so yes.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure that we do it
none of
right the
that's-
first time.
Yeah, we'll make sure all that happens, and I wanted to get in front of you before the Board of Works, and then we'll go in front of them next. And then to Alan's point, we will have security as well. So I'll follow up with an email. I don't know how to share my screen on this computer. I'm sorry, guys. Is it all right if I just email you guys the floor plan here?
Yeah, you can send it to Skylar, and then he can get it out to the board. It's just a floor plan.
Yeah, it's just using the
Layout.
southwest corner there, and it's just the layout for the Indiana ATC, more or less. So,
Okay.
It's typical. The ATC is going to make, they're going to require fencing and a floor plan, a
And
purchase
that's all.
area.
It's pretty detailed. I just can't get the dang thing to share right now. I don't know why.
Skylar, my only other question, and I didn't ask you this before, was in the event that it's wet that day, with respect to that space, which has been a hindrance to us in the past with respect to destroyed grass and the like. Have you thought through that at all, Skylar?
No, it's just always been the kind of the crux of the whole thing is that.
Right. Okay. There's
Now,
not much to do.
The way that we have solved it in the past is some of the events that they've had down there, they pitch, instead of standing in mud and water, they pitched out hay. And I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but it's just, it's still a mess one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
But
unfortunately.
the answer to your question, Chris, though, is the fact that, Tyler also knows, and we talked about this yesterday, is that he's also responsible for preparation beforehand and cleanup afterwards.
Correct. Yeah.
That was my only question. Any other questions from the commission? All right, hearing none, I'd ask for a motion for the request for the use of the redevelopment commission-owned property. I would throw the caveat in there that we can make an approval this evening, contingent upon the final review of the insurance policy and review from our attorney in Skylar. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thanks, Ken.
Second.
Thanks, Kathy. All right. Very good. Thank you. Unfortunately, there was an emergency and Ms. Deutsch had to run. So I'll go through our list. Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Tyler, congratulations and keep it up. Let us know how we can help.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything and appreciate your time this evening.
Yep, thank you.
Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Bye. Approval to convey redevelopment commission properties on West 10th Street. Attorney Cernick.
This is a property that the redevelopment commission acquired in December 17, 2012. And I remember when I first talked to Skylar about this, he goes, I didn't know we had that either, and neither did I. And how we came about this is this property and the adjoining property in West 10th Street are part of the acquisition being done by NICD for the double track project. As part of the federal requirements for land acquisition and appraisals and everything we went through when we acquired the station block property, NICD is doing this and we're on the receiving end. When I received the offer from NICD, I immediately called Amber LePage, the city attorney, and said, for she knew she got one too. And I just said, this is going to be an awful lot of work for both of us. Why don't the redevelopment commission just give you the property, save the work, and then you guys can deal with NICD and convey the property to them with the purchase price of $5,000 going directly to the city, as opposed to having to go through all the multiple steps that are required for conveying the property, accepting the offer and conveying the property to NICD. So she and I both agreed on that. I also talked to Chris beforehand, didn't want to overstep my authority. But so what you have before you is Resolution 2-22, which basically is just that, is that we are conveying this parcel on West 10th Street to the City of Michigan City for consideration of basically reducing an awful lot of bureaucratic waste to get the same result occurring. Normally what would happen is that we would convey it first and the Board of Public Works would accept it. Because of the timing of our respective meetings, the Board of Public Works has already accepted this property subject to our conveying it. So really the only thing you have before you now, there's several documents that Chris would have to execute if you're inclined to agree with this. One would be certainly the Resolution 2-22 and the accompanying document as to the conveying documents so that the city can record ownership with the county, and then proceed then with letting NICTE acquire this property as part of the NICTE double track project. So with a rather long-winded explanation that made it more complicated than it really is, but the idea behind this is to be efficient and cutting through bureaucracy so that we can then move one more step closer towards property acquisition by NICTE for the double track project.
Yeah, I would just say, it streamlines the process. It doesn't muck up the issue, and we can let the city work through the details with the landowner. So, any questions?
It just basically stops Amber and me from doing the exact same thing twice. Amber can do it all by herself, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, let the city pay for it, not Redevelopment Commission. So,
yeah.
Thank you. So,
Will we approve the transfer of property from West 10th Street to the City of Michigan City?
I'll second it.
Ken and John, thank you very much. First and second, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Dennis?
Aye.
Commissioner Barron?
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks?
Aye.
The chair votes aye as well. Motion passes.
Chris, I will need
Yes.
you and Alan to please stop by as soon as you possibly, hopefully tomorrow, maybe, and sign these documents so we can go ahead and get that done in a quick fashion.
Yeah, no.
I don't think you need to sign anything. Chris just needs to sign the 3 different documents. So he needs to sign the resolution, he needs to sign the transfer documents, and he needs to sign the sales disclosure form.
And then they got to get notarized and correct.
Indeed.
I'm assuming there's a notary in the city, but I can notarize it if you want me to. It doesn't make a difference whether I do it. If you want me to notarize it, let me know, and I'll hop down there and do that.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. I just need Chris to stop by and sign.
Yeah.
So just want to get that up. Thank you.
Take care of it. Thank you. Skylar, you are beautiful. I mean, let me say it differently. Skylar, an update on your beautiful site update.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Update on You Are Beautiful. This is a site we've been working on. We're working with a hotel development there, and as of right now, we are kind of done with our redevelopment agreement at this point in time. But I have our financial analysts reviewing we're reviewing their financials right now. That's where we're at. We're at that point, at that stage of the process. And hopefully we will be back before you on the next Redevelopment Commission for basically final approval.
And just to clarify, there are no approvals this evening for this.
No approvals, just an update.
Yep.
I was hoping we would have it done, but the financials, we have them working on a couple of other projects, and I kind of had to prioritize one over the other. So
yep, that's fine.
8th Street and the Boulevard is pretty much in the same situation, just reviewing financials. Redevelopment agreement is drafted, pretty much completed. We're just waiting on a couple of tweaks to that development agreement, and then or a couple of correspondence. We've responded back. They responded back. We're just waiting on a couple of tweaks to that, and then just in the process of reviewing their financials as well for final approval. The next one is our station block update, and I really wanted to. I have Ruth Worma here to talk to us as well. So I'm gonna just kind of give an introduction, but I'd like for her to kind of run us down on where we're at. Her and Terry have been just really doing an excellent job for the Redevelopment Commission of organizing very, very complicated meetings and just sharing a very, very complicated information. And it's just been amazing to sit in on those meetings and just see the collaboration that's happening between NICD and the developer and the city, and just it really is a great collaboration. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ruth and let her kind of talk about our development project. We have put a press release out, which went out Tuesday. And if you didn't see it, we have selected the the developers of Flaherty and Collins to develop the station block. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ruth.
Thank you, Skylar. Yeah, this is, I think probably everybody in sort of the region seems to know about this project, so I'm sure you probably all do. It's been received extraordinarily well and positively. And as the press release included a mention that the fact that it was approved by unanimous vote by a review committee that represents such a really strong cross-section of the city is just, it bodes so well. You know, cities that thrive, cities that go forward positively are ones like yours, where there's a unity of purpose, and it makes it's not just a good feeling, but it reduces risk. Because it increases predictability, which is what, you know, developers, investment managers, what everyone cares about is that this is a project that is so representative of where Michigan City wants to go, that everyone can take a deep breath, not worry about, is this going to be, is this something that there's unsureness and surety about, but can rest easy knowing that, well, there's a lot of hard work that has to be undertaken to get it completed, but there's a sense of mission associated with it that is shared by the necessary parties. So there's not a whole lot to report. We selected Flaherty, the review committee selected Flaherty and Collins. We have a very, very aggressive time schedule. And as Skylar said, these entitlement meetings, as we march toward March 31st, by which the contract must be signed, we're going through very intensive entitlement work, making sure that the design is finalized in a way that conforms to what the original approval indicated, and is satisfactory to all of the parties involved. And that those three parties being NICD, of course, Michigan City, and Flaherty and Collins. So we're going through the entitlements process now. We've got the technical people representing NICD, representing Flaherty and Collins, and representing the city, all working together. Lots of plates being juggled, and a real sense of camaraderie in those meetings. Terry Haymaker, my colleague, said, and she was deputy plan commissioner for the city of Chicago, so she's seen lots and lots of projects of various scales. And she said, after the first meeting, she goes, usually in these meetings, there's always a naysayer. There's always someone who's just gonna, pop the balloon. And there are 15 people in some of these meetings, and there's just a unity of purpose with no balloon poppers. So, and that's not, no one's ignoring that there's a lot of hard work. There is hard work to come, but there's that shared purpose. So that's one track with the entitlements. But the other track is what we'll be starting to work on more intensively next week, is the contract itself. We've got the design effort being undertaken and that review process underway. But the contract now we'll be working on the draft beginning next week. We've been doing the preliminary work to date, but we've got some financial feedback now that is going to be relevant to completing the contract proposal that we will be sending to Flaherty and Collins. So everything seems, it's intense, but everything seems to be on track. We're going to be expecting some just continued collaboration from all of the parties involved, but everything so far is boding very, very nicely. So, Scott, was there anything else you wanted me to mention, Skylar?
No, that was a good summary. I don't want to get into the technical things that we're doing. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts right now in a tight time frame.
And it's never been done in the Midwest before. I mean, it's really significant. This has never been done in Chicago. An agreement between a railroad and a city to have a private developer deliver a train station and a 437 space parking commitment for the train station is you've got to feel pretty proud. You've got to feel pretty proud of this. Anyhow, that's my story. Sticking to it.
Thank you, Ruth.
Well, it looks like you're in the west because you have a nice tree line behind you with some sun. I know it's not. It's fake.
No, that's my Galeen farm. I'm a Michiana person. So
good. I would just like to publicly, thank Ruth and her team, and then as well. I know Skylar and Ruth both mentioned the project team that it was not an easy. It was a very rigorous process. There were some timelines, and there was a lot of time that folks put in on this project, and I just want to publicly thank them all for their time, because it was not. There was lots of reading, a lot of information to digest, and then to be able to have some, as Skylar said earlier, hard discussions about many facets of this project, and I think we came up with the best option. And we also appreciate the other folks that did put in their hat into the ring to look at this project. So thanks again for everybody's hard work. So we should be very proud of this. I mean, we're getting calls from all over the place as to how we're doing the things that we're doing, and it's because we have a collaborative effort with Ruth and the city and redevelopment. So it's exciting times. So thanks, Ruth.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
You got the next one. I got it.
15. Yep. Change order 15. Singing
Yeah,
Saints.
give me 1 second.
Did we not skip the South TIF connectivity improvement?
The South TIF connectivity, number 13.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, we forgot 13.
Yeah, we did forget that one. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I skipped over.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan.
So Ryan, if you're on here, I'll let you jump in. But we do have for approval tonight a expanded scope from them, which Alan is got a couple of things on that he would like to talk about. But if we could, what this expansion of scope is I asked them to add. There's some low-hanging fruit things that we could do in the South TIF right now that kind of came out of the idea of Town Center Drive and expansion of streets, etc. But really, we could make some really critical improvements down there that could help pedestrian connectivity as well. And those are really kind of what I consider low-hanging fruit. Like, we could go do it, but it wasn't part of the original scope. So I've asked them to kind of include that in their scope so that we can go ahead and start discussions with NDOT and get these things going. So with that, Ryan, I'm going to hand it off and kind of let you explain it a little bit more eloquently than me.
You, Skylar, thanks. Yeah, so the amendment number 2 that you have before you tonight is expedite the construction of the low-hanging fruit, what has been deemed as the low-hanging fruit, which includes the new sidewalk along the north side of Westwind Drive, a new sidewalk along the west side of Highway 421 from Westwind Drive up to Larkspur Lane. It also includes a new pedestrian crossing and ramps and pedestrian push buttons and re-signalization of the intersection of Larkspur Lane and Highway 421. And then it also includes new sidewalks on the north and south side of Larkspur Lane from Highway 421 over to Town Center Drive. That is the work that's included in what we're referring to as construction contract number 1. So it's a subset of the work, total work included in the South TIF Connectivity Improvements Project, and it's just being expedited for construction, given the fact that it's more attainable. It doesn't require as much involvement, potentially as much involvement from private landowners, and the scope is just in general smaller than the remaining components of the South TIF project. So I think that should clarify what's included in this. I will add that the prior amendment to this, our professional service agreement, added preliminary design and topographic surveying work for these areas, but it did not add permitting work and full design work and bidding services. But that, I believe, is now included in this amendment number 3. So I hope that helps you understand the scope of this amendment and really the scope of the construction contract number 1.
Yeah. And this kind of came about when we were meeting and kind of thinking about the project and how it all connects together down there. That's where this kind of came out of. And they've already spoken. They brought in NDOT already. NDOT's kind of giving us a nod right now. And I think I just don't want to miss the opportunity to get before them with a permit and try to get this truly is some low-hanging fruit that we could get done. And so that's kind of how all this came about. Alan, what were the things you wanted to amend, or do you want to talk about them now, or do you want to approval pending your?
No, I've already read the contract and it's fine the way it is. I just had one question of Ryan, who is administering or doing the oversight of the various things that are talked about in this? Is that you guys, or is that going to be the DLZ group?
I'm not sure I 100% understand the question, but this would be our work. We would have a sub-consultant that would be taking care of the pedestrian intersection work and the permitting connected with that.
If you go to the last thing on page 2, when you talk about construction services are not included, is that then become a separate phase of the project then, correct? Following all of this.
Right. Yes, this will get us through the bidding process.
Right. That's what I was getting to. And then I guess when as we move forward this project, we just want to make sure that there's planning and cooperation between us, the city, and DLZ as we go forth with some of the other tasks that remain to be able to get this accomplished.
Yeah, I will note that DLZ's involvement is not necessarily involved with the design here, but they are on, working for the city under their own agreement with the Redevelopment Commission to secure the necessary land rights for this work. So if that work that DLZ is doing isn't completed, then you would not be able to construct, like, for example, the sidewalk on the west side of Highway 421, or potentially.
Right. And then I guess that's the area that I want to get into at some point in time. And that's what I was just trying to figure out in terms of when and where and with whom do we end up doing that with. So I think you've addressed that. Thank you. But I've read this contract and it's good. It's nothing different than what they've done before. It's a typical Haas & Associates contract. Spells out the services that are understandable and the costs that go with it, for the additional tasks that Scott has spoke with.
So the total compensation for this is $45,300 would be the extra part of this scope, to add this to the scope, to expand the scope to include all this. Is that correct?
That's correct. That is the amount that would be paid to Haas & Associates for the services that we would be rendering. We've also added an increase to the sub-consultant allowances for traffic engineering of $47,640.
Okay.
That's going to be the work that is all the pedestrian re-signalization permitting regarding the Larkspur Lane Highway 421 pedestrian crossing.
Okay.
So are we approving then the 92,940 here tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right, John.
That's what I was doing.
Yep. So, any
further?
What's that?
So the total compensation is just what John listed off. It's $92,940. It's a much needed improvement in this area. I think we can all agree to that. And like I said, we do have NDOT preliminary discussions with them. They've basically told us to file a permit or get a permit into them. So I'd like to make that happen sooner than later. So any other questions about the scope or what we're doing down there, anything of that nature?
Skylar, when would you anticipate that we could start this, or maybe Ryan or Tim? Can I ask that question?
Are you saying when would the construction,
Yeah.
Right. So
Yes.
I think I note this here in the back section, I believe. First advertisement to bidders for this accelerated construction project will be no later than July 1st. In other words, the bidding process would begin no later than July 1st, and then it would occur subsequent to that.
So would you anticipate that we get some of this work done in 22?
Oh yeah, I think it would all be completed in 22.
Okay.
That is the construction contract number 1.
Okay.
Well,
Very
that's
good.
some kind of a delay in getting materials.
Yeah.
We're not aware of these kind of materials, that would be needed for, in particular, the traffic signal revisions for the pedestrian crossing. But if there were a delay in getting the materials, that would affect the schedule.
Okay.
And of course, obviously, the land rights is an essential part of this as well. I would not recommend beginning construction until those land rights were secured.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm on board with that.
We did. So when Tim and Ryan did a really good job of when we were thinking about how everything connects, they kind of looked at areas where there wouldn't be so much land needed, things of that nature. So we kind of did I won't call it a path of least resistance, but maybe that's a good way to explain it. And what we kind of drew out accomplishes that, if you will. So hopefully there won't be too much. Hopefully we can get it done pretty quickly.
Very good. Any additional questions for the Haas team, Skylar or Alan? Hearing none, I ask for motion with respect to the South TIF Connectivity Improvement Project update including, I guess I'll put in there that the total increase to the original agreement would be $92,940.
I make a motion to approve the $92,940 for the amendment number 2, which includes the compensation to Haas as well as the traffic engineering consultant.
Thank you, John, for that detail.
I'd second.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those. So I go for roll call. Commissioner Dennis?
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett?
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. So we're moving forward, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Look forward to talking soon. I guess,
Chris, can we go back to number 14? Because I think there is something we do need to approve for the station block.
okay.
And it's with Baker and Tilly to perform the analysis necessary for our TIF projections, bonding, etc. Typically, this comes later, but since we're on an accelerated time frame with that, we need to go ahead, and this is something they typically do when we're at a bonding stage, but they're doing all the analysis now to get us to that stage. So that's they've sent me a scope, an expanded scope of work, and that's what I missed. I should have got this. I should have asked you about this earlier. But it's basically just doing the same things. It's the same similar scope of project of work that they do for other bonding projects, or they did it for Ohio Street, things of that nature. They're just giving it to us a little bit earlier so that they can go ahead and complete this project, complete this scoping, where we can just accelerate the project, if you will.
Is there an agreement that we have, or is it just you're asking for permission to?
We do already have an agreement with them. I'm just kind of getting more of a blessing to expand their scope, if you will, to include include the station project specifically.
So,
Alan, did I explain that?
How would we?
Chris, we do have an engagement letter from them that was dated originally back in February of 2021 that I'm assuming, Skylar, that we approved.
Yes.
I'm sorry. The original that was February 18, 2021. This one is now dated February 17, 2022. So it's basically the following year, but specifically germane to this particular project in the event it becomes necessary to go through a bonding process or some other kind of financial mechanism that there's no question that we're going to enlist Baker Tilly's services for, given their past role and as a consultant, financial consultant, and on certainly their familiarity with our finances, both historically and present day. So I think what Andy's asking for is approval and entering into the engagement letter. One as just a general thing for calendar year 2022, but specifically why it comes up now is as it relates to the double track project. And again, as Skylar's alluded to, and as Ruth alluded to, and those of us who've been involved in this, Chris, currently yourself, we are under a tremendous time crunch, and this is going to get something out of the way that we would ordinarily do anyway in the course of business for the course of a year for all the other services that Baker Tilly does from us. But we want to get it done specifically as it relates to this particular project. In the event, identification of alternative funding mechanisms going to be necessary for Michigan City's commitment to the double track project and to the overall train station project.
So is there additional, or within that agreement, are there additional dollars?
It's their same rate that they've always done. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically just saying that they're going to do this specific piece of work for us at the same engagement rates, things like that. It's an hourly rate that we pay for them.
Mm-hmm. Alan, you reviewed the document?
I have, and there's no reason why we should not engage into it. Right?
Okay. I guess I just ask. I'm fine with that. Obviously, they need to do the work, and it would be silly for us to either delay it or have to do some other special meeting for one document. So I'd ask if there are any concerns or questions from the rest of the commission. Hearing none, I guess, Alan, would you like to propose what the motion would be that, well, I guess I could let somebody from the commission offer a motion for the approval of the additional engagement for Baker Tilly review of financials for the station block.
Going into that, it's dated February 17, 2022. Since it becomes a public record, we know what the document is that we're referring to.
Yes, thank you.
I'll second that.
So Ken and John, thank you very much. I will go down list of commissioners. Roll call. Commissioner Dennis.
Muted, Kathy.
Aye.
Thank you, Kathy. Commissioner Barrett.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. So the motion passes. Thank you, Skylar and Alan.
No, thank you. I'm sorry I forgot to bring
That's
that
all right.
up.
No worries.
Kind of an important thing. So, the next one I have here is it's kind of it's a change order it's a final change order to close out Singing Sands Trail. What happened was this change order is for damage to property. We had a pole that got hit during construction by a hit and run. I'm going to follow up with Amber and Alan as well. It's going to do some follow up to make sure if we can recover the damage claims. And but the change order is for $10,722, of which we only owe 20% of that, which is $2,144.47. That's our 20% that we owe. We would like to go ahead and get it paid so that we can close the project. So we can close the project out, basically. That's where we're at. The state is kind of very anxious to close out the project at this point in time. It's pretty much complete. And then we can follow up to try to recoup our claims from the damages.
Yeah, insurance or something.
Yeah, insurance. I need to make sure, did they find them? Did they catch them? Etc.
Right. Okay.
The pole has been replaced, by the way. It's not damaged right now. It's all complete. The work is complete.
Move we approve the change order for the Singing Sands Trail.
Second.
So having a first and a second, thank you. Do a roll call. Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The change order for change order 15 Singing Sands Trail Phase 2 has been approved. Report of legal counsel.
Two things real quickly. One, the usual, there was an executive meeting before this regular meeting tonight. No items were discussed during that meeting that were not permitted under the open door law, and no decisions were made. The second thing is that I sent this to you earlier this afternoon. Apologize for the lateness of it, but you actually got it within a half hour of me receiving it. We talked before about ongoing litigation for environmental recovery costs for the cleanup of the Trail Creek property. There are there are a couple of different primary pollutants for that property. We've settled on one. We continue to work on getting reimbursement from the second one. In some regards, we have gotten a default judgment on some from one of the vendors. One of the property owners, and that property owner does have property within Indiana. Been very uncooperative. So what we've attempted to do, or what we have done, asked the court to do, is to put those parcels of land that have been identified up for sheriff's sale, and obviously any money that is acquired through that process would be applied towards the judgment that's been rendered. The one of the descendants of the former owners of, and it would be the Aaron Clare Cleaners, has asked if she could buy one of the properties outright, specifically the property that's located at 430 Ogden Avenue in Michigan City. as that was her home growing up and has sentimental value to her, and she would ask if she could buy that. We have tentatively, subject to your approval, entered into an agreement where she would be able to acquire that for $25,000. And in exchange for that, she would immediately pay the back taxes that are owed on that property, and would also, that property then would be excused from all the properties that will be put forth for the sheriff's sale auction. The property itself has an assessed value of approximately $70,000, and realistically, at these sheriff's sales, there is no way we would ever receive any kind of fair market value or assessed value. And basically, what this comes down to is that the other party, her name is Sheila Casper, the descendant, is basically what she would be doing here. In effect, we're bypassing that process, because she's bidding $25,000 to acquire this at a sheriff's sale. So, having said that, a settlement agreement and limited release has been sent to you earlier today, and again, apologies for the delay in getting that. But she has executed that. She's willing to pay the $25,000 right away. Our recommendation would be that we also agree with that, enter that agreement, because as I mentioned, having experienced these sheriff sales, representing various clients, for this particular property, it's more than a fair offer to be received. I don't think we would come anywhere close to receiving this at a sheriff's auction if we received anything at all. So the recommendation is to execute the settlement agreement and release for the $25,000. And I guess I should spell out too, from that $25,000, because of our contingency agreement that we have with Lou, Shadley, Rachel, and Braun, who are our lead attorneys on the Trail Creek and cleanup and recovery costs. Our contingency agreement is that they would take their percentage off the top, and then any remaining from that would come to the Redevelopment Commission.
Thanks, Alan. Any questions for Attorney Cernick? Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve the sale of the property at, I think I put down
430 Ogden Avenue.
430 Ogden Avenue in Michigan City for $25,000 plus the back taxes and the money to be paid to the attorneys or attorneys in this situation as well.
I so move.
Thanks, Kathy.
I second that.
Thanks, John. Okay, good. Roll call. Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
The chair votes aye as well. Motion passes. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Report by director from our.
Yeah, I just wanted to read, we did have a correspondence. It's from the Parks Department, and I wanted to read that for you guys. It's dated January 28th, 2022. It's from the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Department. Dear members of the Redevelopment Commission, thank you for your additional large contribution to make let me back up. Thank you for your additional large contribution to make the zoo Big Cat exhibit possible. I'm delighted to have your support. The Redevelopment Commission's donations have made it possible to ensure our ability to retain these class 1 animals. The Big Cat exhibit has been a favorite part of our zoo for many years. You have also greatly assisted the entire Parks Department toward the accomplishment of our goals to enhance Michigan City for future generations. Your help is important to our department, but also to the residents and visitors of our city. You truly make a difference for us, and we are extremely grateful. Sincerely, Ed Shen, who is the director of the parks.
Thanks, Skylar.
At this time, I don't have anything else, but Chris, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's always nice that when we get a thank you, even though it's a inter-city or intra-city correspondence, it's always good to have that. Being a good team player. So appreciate that. And I would also just say that this project was important, and the unfortunate part has been that construction costs have gone up, and that was part of this project. So thank you for the commissioners for your vote of confidence in this project. So, public comment. Is there any public comment this evening?
Caleb, do you see any?
No hands are raised. All right, hearing no public comment, I'll move to commissioner comments. And tonight I'll start with Commissioner Domkowski, who was very patient and attentive during our meetings. So I'll start with Tom tonight.
Well, I've said before, I have a wife and 4 daughters. I've learned patience over all the years, so no problem with that. But once again, it's the city moving forward, and I listen to in different reports on the things we have going, and it's just fantastic. I really appreciate being here. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your contribution, Tom. It's good to have good collaboration. So thank you. I'll just go right down the list. Commissioner Dennis, anything this evening?
No, I'm just glad to be back on the Redevelopment Commission and to hear about all the projects that are going on that I think are going to make a tremendous difference and improvement to Michigan City.
Yeah, well, thanks for your help as well. Look forward to the future. Commissioner Hendricks.
Yeah, I just want to comment. I'm really happy to see the South Side TIF connectivity improvements continuing on, and looks like we're making progress there and getting some improvements in that area. So.
Yeah, I agree. Commissioner Barrett.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. And, my only comment is that, Skylar has worked his butt off over the last year and a half or so and 2 years, and really appreciate what he's done. Skylar brings a very level-headed approach to what goes on, and is doing a great job. And we're very fortunate that Skylar and Aaron are on our team, pushing what we're doing every day. We need to be very cognizant of the fact that we have one big project, and we have a number of other projects that are really kind of waiting in the wings. So Skylar burns the midnight oil, probably a couple different places. I don't want to mention all the places that he burns the midnight oil, but he's burning the midnight oil at City Hall quite often, and he does a great job. And so,
thank you, Chris.
Those are my comments this evening. The next Redevelopment Commission meeting will be March 14th, 2022. At 5 p.m. It will be Skype as well. And prior to that, we will also have an executive committee meeting that will be private at 4 o'clock.
We may be back in person at that point, Tom, Chris.
Yeah, I say Zoom, but who knows? We'll have the agenda out prior that will show where we're.
Absolutely, the agenda will be out prior, and we should be back in person for those watching.
Yeah, good. And I should also say that Debbie Wilson is part of that team in Skylar's office that really all the additional information that not only goes to the Redevelopment Commission members, but all the city council people get the information for all these meetings and are invited. And I would just thank any city council people that attend these meetings. That it is worthwhile to keep you informed of what we're doing day to day. So thank you. And so I would offer a motion to adjourn this evening.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, everybody.
Aye. Have a great evening. Thanks, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Night.
Night.